you. The chairman of the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 response, honorable ministers, permanent secretaries, national coordinator, director general, ladies and gentlemen. The COVID-19 cases recorded daily over the past weeks now fluctuate within the 500 to 700 bracket, with 543 new cases in the past 24 hours, bringing our confirmed total number in Nigeria so far to 38,344, of which 15,815 happily were successfully treated and discharged. We have regrettably recorded 813 fatalities, mostly with comorbidities, and also tested a total of 247,825 persons in all. That's nearly 250,000. We have a case fatality ratio of about 2.1%. We can rightly assume from the exponentially increasing numbers that the pool of potentially infectious persons in the community is rising gradually, and with that, the risk of infection for citizens at all levels of society, since a very significant number of persons testing positive may not show any symptoms and may not be in observation or treatment, and they are moving around among us. I must commend persons of influence in society who tested positive for COVID-19 and came out publicly to declare it and entrust themselves to prescribed treatment. They do us a world of good, but by showing that there is no shame and no danger and nothing to hide about COVID-19. And they also contribute immensely to building confidence in the health system. The Ministry of Health rededicates itself to doing everything possible to ensure that citizens get the best of treatment and are well taken care of. In this respect, I have received good testimony about some of our health institutions, like the University of Lagos Teaching Hospital and the University of Benin Teaching Hospital. I commend the CMDs of these hospitals and urge them to strive even higher for others to emulate. Nigeria expects the best of all our health institutions. But despite this, our focus is still on prevention, being better and cheaper than cure. From what we know of COVID-19 so far, we cannot reduce infection rates significantly without adhering to the public health advisories, such as appropriate wearing of face masks, physical distancing, and avoiding crowded places to escape the exponential infection rate that sustains COVID-19 at present. If we accordingly take responsibility, we can save lives, including our own and that of our beloved ones. The evidence on the side of wearing a mask to protect yourself and others is now incontrovertible. We should all comply. The Federal Ministry of Health, through the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, now has a total of 59 molecular diagnostic laboratories for COVID-19 activated. With a little improvement in logistics, the lack of availability of testing capacity should not be a tenable excuse anymore. I'm pleased to mention that all states of the Federation, including the FCT, are receiving support from the COVID-19 response through the Regional Disease Surveillance Enhancement Project. And as been announced, with this support, all states of the Federation will have 100 million naira to enhance high-impact priority response activities. The soon-to-be reactivated Basic Healthcare Provision Fund will join the funding pool for states. The High Commissioner of India, as has been mentioned just now, led a delegation of the High Commission to Nigeria to the Ministry of Health on Friday, 17th, to donate essential medicines and commodities in support of the Nigerian government effort in combating the COVID-19 pandemic. We thank His Excellency, the High Commissioner, and the government and people of India for the gesture. I also use this opportunity to express appreciation once again to all our other partners who have continued to stand by us. The National Institute for Pharmaceutical Research and Development, NIPRID, has now shared its final report on the evaluation of the COVID-19 organic from Madagascar. The initial temporary result had shown that its main ingredient is the same as Artemisia annua, which is grown in Nigeria. While the preparation at high dose showed activity in reducing frequency of cough, it did not show any evidence that it has a real curative property against the COVID-19 virus. However, we shall continue to support all genuine efforts towards finding local COVID-19 cures. The This Day Dome Isolation Center has finally started admitting COVID-19 patients, and it is the most comprehensive of our treatment centers, fully equipped to treat mild, severe, and even critical COVID cases. It has ventilators, oxygen concentrators, and dialysis machines. On behalf of His Excellency the President, I also express appreciation to the Coalition Against COVID-19 group who set up the center, and the CBN, Central Bank of Nigeria, who is providing hospitality to staff and patients. Personnel will be deployed to man the place by the Federal Capital Territory, and they will join the expert team from Irua Teaching Hospital, who have been assigned to ensure a smooth takeoff and mentor a critical mass of health workers to operate the center. On Tuesday, the 21st July, was the reporting day of the Ministerial Expert Committee, Advisory Committee on COVID-19, when the leadership of the Federal Ministry of Health and the agencies and departments received the second report from the chairman, Professor Oyewale Tomori. The findings were highly instructive and will be shared with agencies, the PTF, and stakeholders. As we approach the Sallah period and the time of prayers, I join all those who wish our Muslim brethren well and urge them not to forget the precautions that have been prescribed so as to reduce the risk of COVID-19 transmission. All over the world, mass gatherings have been linked with mass infections and casualties, as we see in other countries, and we see in the media every day. We also see that places where they had gatherings, where they opened up, had to be shut down very quickly because of rising casualties, which is what we are trying to avoid, so as not to overwhelm the capacity of our own health system. Since the risk of crowding can never be ruled out in places of worship and also pose a serious hazard for COVID-19 transmission, it is very wise that persons who are vulnerable, and as by vulnerable we mean people who are elderly, who are obese, who are in treatment for hypertension or diabetes or cancer or HIV or TB, or maybe they have had a transplant or any other condition that is chronic, should better stay at home and pray at home. I also strongly advise that travel anywhere be avoided during this period, except for critical reasons. It may be helpful to advise that citizens get the right nutrients in these uncertain times to ensure best chances to build your immunity and strengthen capacity to resist infections. Food should include good amounts of fruits, vegetables, and vitamins. In conclusion, I should like to remind all of us that even though COVID-19 can present symptoms like fever, similar to malaria, they are not the same. Symptoms like cough, sore throat, fever, loss of sense of taste or smell, or difficulty in breathing, headache, are those are the less common ones, or rather the less common ones are diarrhea, body pain, catarrh, shivering, and fatigue, especially when several of these symptoms occur together, may be suggestive of COVID, and a test is required. Please call your state hotline or the 112 emergency line or the NCDC hotline, or visit a sample collection center near you, which can be found on the NCDC website now. Thank you for your attention.